Hi and welcome, Cody Hammer here again with another SQL 2005/2008 video tutorial. In this video I want to be specifically talking about stored procedures. Stored procedures, what they are is a basic way to take a whole bunch of code and shorten that down to perform actions that are done on a daily basis. A really good example of this is, let's say we have a database or a table that's got some employee information, be it their last name, their first name, their city, their address. And we might want to say something like, okay, well, I want to give a certain amount of employees a raise or a decrease in their pay. But I want to find an easier way to do this without having to go through, pages upon pages of T-SQL code, triggers, functions, that sort of thing. We can do that by using stored procedures. To get started, I want to do a demonstration within VMware. I have Windows Server 2008 running here. And then for this presentation, I will use the SQL Studio Management facility. I can click on Start on the bottom left-hand corner, and you click on SQL Server Management Studio. Once I have the Management Studio open, I can connect to my local database. Expand databases, and I've got just a short basic database here called Feeding the Seed, and I want to show you the person table. So this is what my persons table looks like. It's got an ID, a last name, a first name, a phone number, an address, and a city. For this specific example, I might say something like, okay, well, I want to make a report based on all the people that live in Miami. To do this, I can click on the New Query button, and I'll use a select statement that basically says I want to take information from something. So let's take the first name, the last name, and the city from the dbo.persons table, where the city is equal to Miami. And as you can see here, that particular statement only selects people that live in Miami. Now, because this is a simple table and a simple database that I've created, let's say it gets a lot bigger in the future, and you might have, pages upon pages of code, and you say, okay, there's got to be an easier way to do this, because I don't want to go through here and have to edit everything just to find people that live within the city of Miami. And we can do that by creating a stored procedure. So what I'm going to do is keep that in mind. Imagine this table right here having a whole bunch of code. And we're saying to ourselves, well, there's got to be an easier way to look through this and select people from a specific city or a specific last name, anything within that nature. So I'm going to go ahead and kind of move that down a little bit. And I'm going to create a procedure. So create procedure, and I'm going to call that get Miami employees. We'll insert an as statement here. The command completed successfully. So now what happens if I open a new query button, or a new query window rather, sorry, I can execute my stored procedure. So execute get Miami employees. We should now see everybody that lives within Miami. And if I close these windows, again, this is our original T-SQL code here, and we can imagine that this is our original with a whole bunch of code on it. But I'm going to go ahead and close this. And now what happens is, if we expand the feed and seed database, the programmability and the stored procedures, we have already created another one here. I'm going to go ahead and delete this really quick. We have the Get Miami Employees procedure that makes it a lot easier for us to make changes instead of looking through a whole bunch of T-SQL code. Now, if we want to, it makes it a lot easier to create other stored procedures or other queries or reports. Let's say we want to open this up. So if we open this up and go to script stored procedure, create to a new query editor window, here's our code that we used to find all the people that live within the city of Miami. If I rename this to, let's say, Get non-Miami employees, and again, if this wasn't a stored procedure, I'd have to go all the way back to our the first code that I was talking about that could have a whole bunch of coding there that would be time consuming to look through. So if I put an exclamation point here, that's saying where the city is not equal to Miami. And we can do the same thing. We can rename this again to Get non-Miami employees and execute this. Let's see here. Not sure why I did that, but and then if we open up a new query, execute the get non-Miami employees, we can execute that and it'll show everybody that doesn't live in Miami. So stored procedures are a really fun, like I said, a fast, efficient way to retrieve information, create reports without having to go through our original, where we could have tons and tons of information. And once you have a stored procedure, it's easier to create other stored procedures, in my opinion. So it's a really good thing to have. Again, I wish I had a better example to where I had a whole lot of code on our original table. But hopefully you guys got the idea. This concludes my video, and I hope you guys enjoyed watching.